This
Hey,
conference will now be recorded.
hey there, everybody. It's Tammy D with SafeMoneyTrends.com. And a lot of you know me, some of you don't, but I'm excited to bring you a webinar on December the 12th. And I want to tell you why you should attend. If you are a financial service professional of any stripe, insurance agent, retirement planner, tax planner, estate attorney, whatever your role in financial services is, you probably at some time or other have said to yourself, am I paying too much for my marketing? And unfortunately, most of the time, the answer to that is yes. I have seen actual agency bills that some of my advisors have gotten over the years, and I am shocked. I'm shocked. Of course, a lot of these agencies have physical presence, right? They have overhead and they have staff they have to pay, so on and so forth. So you're paying for that, but more than that, a lot of times they're just taking advantage of your ignorance. And I don't mean ignorance in a negative way. I mean that you just don't know what it actually costs to do some of the things they're doing, right? A lot of times you're paying for content that is actually AI generated, and then some doofus editor might look it over very vaguely and go, okay, sign off on it. And I can almost always tell AI content these days because not enough effort is put into the prompts and not enough effort into the editing, and it just looks generic and bland. And I can show you how to spot it too. We may actually do that on the webinar. But moreover, you're getting charged outrageous amounts of money for things like radio broadcasting. I know a couple of guys that signed up with a so-called radio show marketing company and spent $50,000 or $60,000 to get maybe one or two leads at the most, and neither of those resulted in a sale. So that's overpriced. You could, if you want to do land radio, we can show you how to do it a lot cheaper. Most importantly, you can do a podcast for a tenth of the price. So those are the kind of things we're going to be talking about in the webinar. I'm also going to have my presenters from safemoney.com, and we're going to talk about the joint venture we're doing that's going to blow the lid off a lot of these IMO, FMOs, lame marketing efforts, right? Even if you're getting it for free, quote unquote, remember there's no such thing as a free lunch, right? Don't you tell your clients that? Hey, not getting anything for free. Here's the deal. If you work with an IMO or FMO and you don't produce and they keep changing the goalposts constantly, your free stuff goes away. They either pull it or they say, oh, sorry, you got to pay for it now because you fell below the threshold. Or if you just do something that they don't like, or if you write business that's good for your client, but you write with another carrier because your FMO, IMO doesn't represent that carrier. And that happens all the time. If you're doing your fiduciary responsibility, you're not selling only the products that your marketing organization wants you to sell. You're doing a lot of things, right? You're helping the client whatever they need. And if you do that and they find out, sometimes they'll just yank your content, right? Because they own it and not you. So we're different in so many ways. My goal is not to tell you you're going to generate leads with this, although you might. And if you make some tweaks, you probably will, just not a lot of leads. What we're telling you is that in the coming years, it's going to be more crucial than ever that you get found in search and that you have a strong online reputation, that you have a strong presence. When people Google you, you want them to see only the good stuff and you want them to see a lot of good stuff, right? So we're going to show you why that's so critical. A lot of you have tons of leads that you've never closed. We're going to show you what to do with those. You can recycle those and reinvigorate those. Many times, the reason you don't get any results is you do not follow up. Okay, come on, admit it. We're all bad at that. So we're going to show you how to follow up in a more efficient way. And we're also going to help you discover some other tools that you can use that are inexpensive compared to what agencies charge. Because this is your other alternative. You can go to an agency. I'm not going to say nappy cracking, nappy spracking, or snap crackle popping, whatever they call themselves, right? One of those kind of agencies. And they will charge you an arm and a leg to do stuff that may or may not get you more leads. Is it well done? Yes. Is it organized and all that sort of stuff. Yes, but one thing is it's not 100% them doing it. You have to also work in it, and it's very complex. So there's a lot of these agencies out there that lure you in with the possibility that you're going to get so many leads like Dan Smith, and he's his top producer and he's top of the table and all that sort of stuff. And they end up charging you thousands of dollars for stuff. For example, a website. You should be able to get a decent functional website that even has an opt-in, a lead magnet on it. You should be able to do that for less than $1,500. But most times, guys are paying $3, $4, $5, even $10,000 for a website. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And safemoney.com, it's a lot more than a directory. I got to see behind the scenes. I got to peek behind the curtain, and wow, they have a lot of marketing initiatives. Some of them work well, some of them not so well, some of them need to be tweaked a little, but the fact is they're bringing value to advisors and agents if you use the tools. Because what good is it having a brand new I can't think of the names of all these electric tools, Milwaukee or whatever. What's the value of having the coolest saw in the world if you never pick it up? If it just sits in the box out in the shed. And this is what happens so many times. Advisors will buy something because they think it's going to just magically attract prospects, just like fairy dust. And then when it doesn't, they give up on it and they go to the next shiny thing and the next shiny thing, and they end up spending all their marketing budget on things that will never work, or things that would have worked if they had stuck with it a little bit longer and been consistent. Okay. So if you're not a person who's disciplined and who's invested in your own marketing, you probably won't get anything out of this webinar. But if you're someone who's sick and tired of being ripped off, if you're sick and tired of having very lame, listless, boring marketing, if you want to stand out, okay, if you want to stand out in a crowded field and not get rained on, then come to this webinar. This is what we're going to show you, and a lot more. So, by the way, if you're one of the first 50 who register, you're going to get a lot of goodies. So even if you can't attend live, please register today. The link is below this video in the show notes. There's some other links for you to follow if you want to find out more about who we are and what we do and why we love our agents and advisors. Take care, and I'll see you on the webinar.